All right,
All
we're
right.
live.
Well, indeed we are. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hump Day Hangouts, episode 89 with Semantic Mastery. Today is the 20th of July, 2016, and we got a couple of us here today. So, hey, Hernan, how's it going?
Hey Adam, hey everyone, Facebook, Google Plus, everything, Earthlinks. It's really good to be here.
And Bradley, how's it going, man?
What's up, man? That's good.
Let's see. Just so you know, we don't see you. I don't know if that's on purpose or not.
Well, let me check my settings.
Good deal. Well, I'll go through some quick announcements.
How about
So we
now? Can you
told
guys see me
everybody.
now?
Yeah, there we
All
go.
right.
Cool. So I'm going to put the link up, everybody. We had a couple respondents to our Rant Mastery, but if you guys want to just chime in there, it redirects right to a Google form, and I'm getting phone calls. All right. So you can pop stuff in there real quick. It's going to be just quick responses we're going to start doing on Facebook via Facebook Live through the Semantic Mastery page. So it's kind of fair game, but obviously if it's something really off topic or something too in depth, we're going to have to kind of skip it. So
Yeah, so the idea, guys, is the rant mastery, right? So we need ideas to rant about. So rant requests is what we're looking for. And so just post, it's a one question form, Google form, and it's 100% anonymous. So just submit stuff that you would like for us to rant and sound off about. And we're going to do Facebook Live posts. It's probably, at, I was thinking about doing one per day, but it might just be 2 or 3 per week, something like that. And we're going to take ideas from people. It can be about just about anything. It doesn't have to be about specifically SEO and stuff like that. And remember, our Q&A session is this Hump Day Hangout. So if you guys have something that is short or whatever, we'll take all ideas, any and all ideas, because it gives us ideas of stuff to rant about. So submit your stuff. You can be smartasses if you want.
yeah, I was about to say, I know I'm going to really open up the floodgates here, but we read every single one of those entries, and
Yeah.
already we've had a good chuckle or two. So keep it somewhat clean, but by all means, put in there, whatever you want. Could be anything. We've had some good ones. So I think I've actually got one I'm going to do probably tomorrow or Friday when I get some time. So.
Yeah, and we're probably going to start those full force after today. So because we just needed a few more entries. We had a few, but we'd like to get some more. So you guys help us out, contribute to it, and give us some stuff to rant about.
Yep. And then one more reminder for everybody, right after Hump Day Hangouts at 5 o'clock, we're going to be doing how to live stream kind of part 2 with OBS, so Open Broadcast Software. I guess that's what the OBS is. But it's a little bit better way, I prefer it, to Wirecast. And it's right now what Bradley's using to dual stream to more than one location. For me, I just think it's simple. I like it. It's easy to use. So if you're interested in how to do that, we're going to paste the link on the page, and hopefully you got an email. And if you're watching this down the road, you'll be able to click on the link and go watch it. This is going to be some training that we're going to offer to people. It's something neat that we do, so we wanted to share it with you guys.
Yeah, and Adam, next time you post a subdomain, don't put www in front of it. It doesn't work.
Interesting.
So just so you know.
Yeah. No, I had it in my notepad without anything and was like, oh, I'll make it all. Anyways, yeah.
Sorry, Bradley, but just a quick note on the webinar. That's what we're using right now to live stream all over the place. And Facebook has been giving a ton of exposure lately to live events. So I think it's a great opportunity for people to come and leverage on that opportunity. So I think this is a great tool. It's free. It is kind of it's not a pain, but it has its tricks and perks to set up. But that's why we are doing the OBS webinar anyway. So I suggest that you come sign up. It's free. It's going to be a pure value.
Yeah, no pitch. And it's not going to be a real long webinar, guys. It'll be an hour or less because it's not real in depth on how to use OBS. It's actually fairly simple to use. I think it's a lot easier to use than Wirecast, to be honest with you. And I really like it. And it's open source. It's 100% free. And so the webinar we're doing today, guys, it's 100% value. There's no pitch at all. So you guys come check it out, and you'll learn how to use OBS, which we just started using about a month ago. But I really, really like it, and it gives us the ability to simulcast both YouTube and Facebook Live at the same time. And like Hernan said, Facebook Live posts are getting about 25% reach. So whatever the Facebook page total like number is, every time you do a Facebook Live post, it gets pushed out through the EdgeRank algorithm and shown to about 25% of the overall audience, or you know, the people that have liked the page. So that's really cool. And then they'll give you the option to boost it, which will give you another 25% reach, roughly. So that's pretty significant, considering most posts get anywhere between like 5 to 10%. 10% is even high engagement unless you boost it. So for like regular type posts. So live posts, Facebook live posts are doing really, really well for engagement, and that's why we started to use it. So we wanted to kind of show everyone else how to use it as well. So we'll be doing that today at 5 p.m. So in about 45, 50 minutes from now. All right?
Good deal. All right, well, that's all I've got in on my end. Do you guys have anything?
No, I think we're good. Let's go ahead and try this again, because remember, it's a little bit tricky if you're doing a screen share. If I select just Google Hangouts, tell me you guys aren't seeing anything but a black screen, right?
Correct.
All right, let's do this. Let's go select the Firefox window. It's a little bit tricky setting this up, so that's it right there. Okay, you guys should be seeing it now.
Good to go.
All right. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and show Chrome and webcam over here. Actually, I'll do this. Okay, so everybody should be good to go. All right, guys, sorry about that. It's a little tricky kind of managing all these at the same time. So, all right, let's do it. Let's get into the questions. Alex says, Bradley, how likely is it to get a Forbes or Huff-post-like website to mention me on their site if I contact them? Say I do land a backlink from them, how many would someone need to gain authority in the health beauty niche to rank from 0 to at least the first 5 pages? Well, you mean from not indexed or not in the top 100 to the first 5 pages? I'm assuming that's what you mean, Alex. How hard is it to get a link from them? Well, you know, if you could get a guest post, like if you could somehow work your way in and get a guest post on them, you could get it that way. Something else you could do is there are what they call editorial links. There are a lot of services out there now that sell editorial links. They're damned expensive.
Yep.
I mean, hugely expensive. Sometimes they're thousands and thousands of dollars for one link. And in fact, Hernan, can you? I know Local Client Takeover; those guys have an editorial link service.
Yeah.
Can you locate that and drop it on the event page for him?
Yep.
It's really expensive. I mean, but I mean that's why it's expensive, because those links are so effective, and it's very difficult to get your own, you know, to kind of weasel your way in and get a link on your own. You have to pretty much build relationships with journalists and things like that are regular contributors to those media outlets in order to get them to, you know, use a quote of yours or something like that in one of their articles, in which case they'll link back to you. So it's difficult to do that. I mean, you can if you've got the time. Then you can, you know, you could do that. You could like another site that you could look at for opportunities to comment on stories that are going to be written would be Harrow, Help a Reporter Out. That's something else you can sign up. I think you can sign up for a free account and get alerts on a daily basis, and that's called Help a Reporter Out. Let's go take a look at that real quick. And they'll email you upcoming requests from journalists and, you know, writers, bloggers, and that kind of thing that are looking for experts in a particular subject matters, and they'll tell you what the subject matter of the articles are, and then you can submit your you know, you can submit details to the writer saying that, you know, you could be quoted on that, and then when they quote you, that's when they'll link back to you. So let's take a look at this real quick. Help a Reporter Out right there. So it's helpareporter.com. Okay, that's it right there. You can sign up for free services. I'm a source. Sign up that way, and then you can get them to send you every day. They'll send you some you know, available opportunities and things like that. Now you'll be competing with others too, so just keep that in mind. So it definitely takes work, and that's why those services like the one that Hernan's going to drop on the page is valuable, because it, you know, they've done all the legwork. You just pay them a lot of money and you get the link back. So hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah, I'm talking to Mark Luckenbaugh from LCT, and they do not have it publicly, but they will toss us a contact information, so that, you know, if you guys are interested in getting it, it's not cheap, but no, you know, they can get the job done for you. Another option that you know, I've been diving like deep into guest posting to increase like brand awareness for Semantic Mastery and whatnot. And there are a bunch of people out there that you would think that they wouldn't even answer your emails, and it's kind of not like that. If you have like something worth saying or sharing, Alex, go ahead and pitch them. You may be lucky, and at some point you just need to follow up with the guys and whatnot. But it's kind of, I thought it would be harder, but we landed some nice guest posts, and we're talking not only about the link possibility or the link shoes, but the traffic that these guest posts can get. So you have several options. The other option is to scrape them using blue chip backlinks, and 301 those links to your to whatever you want to rank. That's like the third option.
Yeah, that's not quite as effective. It's still effective, and it's better than not having them at all. And like blue chip backlinks, in fact, I'm pretty maybe not. I might be thinking of the old crawler I was using, but they used to have specific categories like from CNN, Huffington Post, Forbes, those kind of things. Entrepreneur, Inc. magazine. They used to have like lists of available domains that they had scraped. That might have been the other crawler. But regardless, you can crawl it yourself if you want, if you have access to that tool. So. Okay, also just wanted to thank you guys. I'm very thankful to have found out about you guys in IFTTT. Well, I'll +1 that, but I'm in the Firefox window, so it won't let me. And how many, the second part of that question I didn't finish, and I'm sorry about that. He said, so do I, say I do land a backlink from them, how would someone need to gain authority, how many would somebody need to gain authority in health, beauty, niche, strength from 0 to at least first 5 pages? Too many variables there, Alex. There's too many variables because, I mean, like, for example, if your on page isn't correct, I'm assuming yours is, but I'm just saying if your on page is poor, then you're going to require a hell of a lot more backlinks. If you have really, really strong on page, you've got an authority type site. If it's a newer site, most likely it's not going to be an authority type site. But if you did have an authority type site, it's siloed well, there's a lot of content, interlinking is done properly, all of that, then it will take less links than it would if you had a poor a site with poor on page SEO. So, like I said, there's too many variables for us to be able to tell you how many links you're going to need. So, Paul says, hey guys, I've got a question out of left field for you. Okay. I have a web designer who redesigned a site for a client. When they uploaded the new site, it lost ranking. Nothing new there. It happens. But the client is pissed and went out and got opinions on why. Here is what the clowns said. They said the URL was built wrong with a / on the end of the URL, and that was one of the reasons it lost ranking. If it ends in a trailing / it creates a meta refresh that returns the error status 503 to the Googlebot. My first reaction is that they're full of shit. What do you think? Thanks. Yeah, that shouldn't make any difference whatsoever. Returns a 503 to the Googlebot. I don't know. I've never looked at it from a Googlebot standpoint.
No, they should. My opinion on this, and Marco, since he joined, maybe he can chime in on this.
Oh, hey, Marco.
Yeah, but the point is that I think that it shouldn't be returning a 503 error because that's a server error. If that's a thing,
bad gateway or something, right?
Yeah. If you're getting a bad gateway, that's something to be fixed on your server, but it doesn't have anything to do with the URL, because it should, if it is a meta refresh or a 301. You could be 301 at like the end of the trailing / to the without trailing / or whatever. You can do that on WordPress itself. But if you're getting a 503 and that's something that you're actually seeing, just plug it into Where It Goes or Redirect Checker or whatever. And if that's something, then that's something that you need to fix. But it's on the server side. It's not. It doesn't have to do with the trailing / So.
Yeah, it says 503 is a service unavailable error, and that sounds like a server error, not a URL error. But anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marco.
No, what I would ask is this what they're telling the client, or is this actually what's showing up when you look it up as when you run it as Googlebot inside the search console? Because if that's just what they're saying, the trailing / has absolutely nothing to do. I mean, it could be the theme. That's the problem with the trailing / You could always change it, right? We have like the 301, right? Everything that returns an error gets 301 to the home page or whatever destination you want. But I don't see why it would be returning a server error just because of that forward slash or trailing slash. That's by default in WordPress when you choose your own permalinks, right? When you go with setting up your own permalinks, I mean that's added by default by most themes. So I don't see why that would be a problem.
Yeah, so what I would do is just like he said, you want to add your site to Search Console and go to Fetch and Render, or use the Google Fetch tool inside of Webmaster Tools or Search Console, and it'll tell you like what codes and things like that. So Fetch is Google. That's what you want to do, is take a look at it that way and see what the errors are. I think they're full of shit too. I mean, if there's some sort of error code that is being generated, then it's something that can be fixed, and it's probably going to be on the server side. So, and it might be like something that could be done in HT Access or whatever, too.
Yeah, because that 503 has to do with the HTTP request. Right? You're requesting that URL to the server. The server says, no, sorry, that's not that's not available right now because whatever delay. Oh, there you go. Oh no, you're not looking. Look that up. 503 error, because I think.
Yeah, that's what I've done just a second ago. Let me.
I think it'll tell you exactly what I told you. That whatever's running the website has a problem. They can't handle the request.
Saying a service unavailable error, what it is and how to fix it. PC support.
There you go.
There you go. Just
if you can't find an answer, Google it.
That's right. So, hopefully that's it. Server is too busy or because there's maintenance being performed on it. See, that's a server error code, and it shouldn't have anything to do with the trailing slash in the URL. But if it is, you could always contact the host and say what's going on with this trouble. So, if you're dealing with a good host, which is why we always recommend Liquid Web, because Liquid Web has awesome support that pretty much takes care of any issue ever, but a lot of the cheaper hosts won't do it for you. So.
Oh yeah. after fighting with HostGator for I don't know maybe a year, Liquid Web is like heaven, in terms of
Liquid Web is totally worth the extra money. Dean says, when building IFTTT networks based around nicheA with Gmail phone verified accounts and Google sign-ins, is it okay to build out a few more networks for nicheB, still using the same Gmail account and using it to sign in, etc.? Is that spammy? Because as a web designer, I have a few client sites already in my main Webmaster Tools account, and would save me time to perhaps use the same persona, i.e. the real me, to do that. Many thanks. Just built my first network 1 day ago. +1 that. Well, you can, Dean, but I wouldn't recommend it. The thing is what I've said. I've been, this is how I do it, and this is what I recommend: is that every time you build new networks, that you still set up a persona. Even if it's branded networks, for that matter. The way I do it is I set up a persona, which is the account owner, so to speak, right? Like that's the page owner, the Google account owner is the profile. That's a person or persona in this case. But then what you do is you set up the branded accounts, the page, the Google Plus page, and the YouTube channel, and all that kind of stuff, and then you assign yourself your profile, your main Dean Signori profile as the manager, so that you can access it from your own Google dashboard without having to log in through a different login. So that's what I recommend that you do. And the reason why I say that is because it separates accounts. If you had, let's say that you had 10 different sites, and they were all, and you had 10 different networks, and you built them all underneath your main profile, or any one profile. Does that make sense? So like whether it's yours or somebody else's profile, it doesn't matter. Let's just say that all of those accounts were under that one profile, and something were to happen at some point where Google thought you were doing something spammy and decided to terminate your account, you'd lose all of those, okay? And all 10 sites. And so at least when you use a persona as the account owner and you assign yourself as the manager, then you can still manage all of those accounts through your profile. But if you were to ever get terminated because you weren't the page owner, that page would still, it wouldn't be affected. It would just terminate your account, but it wouldn't terminate the page owner's account. Does that make sense? So what I suggest doing is, I know it's a little bit of extra work, but it's just a way to prevent yourself from putting all your eggs in one basket in case Google decides to take that basket from you. So I always recommend that you separate it. Okay. Let's see. I already have sites in my main Webmaster Tools account. Would like to save me time. Perhaps it's same thing though. I mean, because you can add your main profile as a manager, so that's so that you can access the Google Plus page and the YouTube channel and the blogger account, stuff like that. You can do all of that as a page manager. But then if you want to add those sites to your Search Console or Webmaster Tools account and your Analytics account and things like that, you can. You just add yourself as a user. So within Search Console, you click in the top right where the settings are, and you add users. Click on Add Users or whatever the term is, and then you just submit your Gmail address, and then you can also restrict the access level to like read-only or full rights and that kind of stuff. And so I would recommend that that's what you do, is still set up the new networks under new personas, and then just make yourself a page manager as well as a Search Console user and an Analytics user as well. Okay.
To go back real quick to Paul's question, because he posted later on that it's what they told the client. Now here's his opportunity to make himself look like a boss, right? He just needs to make sure that everything is redirected to either the www or non-www version of the website. We usually recommend www since it's a subdomain. Make sure that you have it in Webmaster Tools or Search Console, whatever you want to call it, and make sure that you have access to the cPanel and to the error logs. Then you go and you sit in front of your client and you run it through Search Console, and then you run a regular request through all three browsers if you want, and then you go look at the error logs. They should be completely clean, and you say, whoever told you this doesn't know what they're talking about, and now you just look like a boss.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, because you can turn this, let somebody else, especially when they say some bullshit like that, when you go back and can show them proof, like that wasn't true, then that makes you look like the superstar. So you'll get you'll earn their trust as well. Okay, 1 second, guys. I got sidetracked. All right. The next question is R. Bacon. He says, Bradley, a quick question. I've noticed when I search Google rankings for certain keywords that I've ranked my site for, sometimes the 3-pack shows and sometimes it doesn't. Is there any explanation as to why it only shows up part of the time? Well, the only explanation I know of, and there might be an actual official answer to this, but the one that my assumption is, or what my understanding is that Google's always tweaking their search engine results pages, and they're trying new things for different search phrases and different geographic locations and that sort of thing to determine the click-through rates of the listings that they're displaying. And so sometimes they show the maps, sometimes they don't, because I know what you're talking about. I see the same thing. However, that said, what they do is they determine, they do like a sample of with the 3-pack and without the 3-pack, and then they try to determine, and they'll also change the positioning of the ads sometimes. Sometimes the ads, most of the time the ads are at the top, but sometimes they'll move the ads to the bottom of the page now, instead of, because remember, they don't do it on the sidebar anymore anyways. And so what they do is monitor the click-through rates from the different configurations that they display in the search engine results pages, and then over time they determine which one gets the most interactivity or the most engagement or whatever, and then they choose to display that more often than not. So it's almost like auto-optimizing the search engine results pages. That's my understanding of it. But I can also tell you, and I just pulled this up, that's why I was distracted. This is an article, a Search Engine Roundtable, that, and I've noticed this a lot recently too, and those of you that were on, I don't know if we talked about this in Hump Day Hangouts or we talked about it in Masterclass last week. I think it was Masterclass, but I'm doing a lot more AdWords stuff now. I'd never done AdWords stuff in the past, but this is part of the reason why, is because of what they're doing with the search engine results pages now. When you do local searches, most of the time on desktops and laptops, you're going to see 4 ads, and then you're going to see a Maps 3-pack. So you don't even get to any organic listings until you're below the fold. And because of that, all of the sites that I've done, lead gen sites and plus client sites of mine that were focused 100% on organic SEO, so they didn't have a Maps listing, or they're in areas that they don't have a physical location. And they also don't do AdWords. Most of my clients have not, to this point, done AdWords. And so the problem is that most of the organic listings we've noticed have started to considerably seen a considerable decline in call volume or leads in general, but about 80% of my business is phone calls. For lead gen and for clients who, we generate phone calls. That's our primary objective. So we've seen the all organic listings, we've seen significant drop in call volume. However, the maps listings, the ones that do have maps listings, they have stayed fairly steady. But that's why I'm starting to do a lot more AdWords stuff now, because we gotta evolve with the changing SERPs, and so I'm recommending to clients. I've got a meeting with 2 different clients on Friday actually to pitch them AdWords services. And I'm going to use the same thing, and we talked about this before, but let's just bring this up real quick. So, like, if I say like roof repair, let's say Richmond, VA. So take a look, guys. There's 4 AdWords listings here first, and you scroll down, and then there's the Maps pack with 3 listings. So before you got to scroll a third of the way down the page before you even get to any organic listings, and because of that, a considerable call volume has dropped off, and that's why, like I said, I'm going to go meet with 2 roofing contractors, in fact, on Friday, and I'm going to be showing them this and explaining this to them and saying, look, guys, if you're not up here or in the maps, you're losing a hell of a lot of calls, and they're aware of that already. So, but the link that I wanted to share, which I'm sorry I got sidetracked again, here is. Let me see if I can post it on this page without being signed in. This is an SEO roundtable article that was just posted yesterday by Barry Schwartz, and there's a lot of chatter online right now about the maps listings have dwindled considerably. So this is like a before shot. You see this here, and then we scroll down. This is the after shot, and you can see that the maps listings now are considerably reduced as well. I'm not talking about the 3-pack. I'm talking about when you click on the show more results. So like right here where it says more places, if we click on this, we've noticed that, and I've noticed this for a lot of my lead gen sites, that because I'm always checking on stuff, is that the maps listings, they're not showing the show more listings down here at the bottom. So like if you're not in the top however many they decide to display here, then there's no way to even access the maps listing unless you're looking specifically for that business's name. So if you read this article, and here I'll finally paste it. I've been teasing you guys with it long enough. Let me try this right here. Nope, see, it's not going to let me post on it. Here, Adam, I'm going to drop this in Slack. If you could
sounds good.
Paste that on the event page. So what I was going to say was and what he says in this article is that, yeah, I think they're paving the way. Google is paving the way for paid maps listings. And so they're starting to tweak the algorithm. Now, again, this is speculation at this point, but it seems pretty apparent what they're doing. They're reducing the number of maps listings that are showing up organically so that they can start making room for AdWords paid maps listings. Right? And we had heard from Google announced before that the first listing in a maps pack is going to be paid ad anyways. You can see if we're looking at the maps page right here, this is a paid ad. But from what I hear, from what I had heard on it, and I'd have to locate the article, but I had heard that the first position in the 3-pack is going to start being an ad too. And so my point is, guys, if you're not evolving, then you're going to end up not being able to perform as well as an SEO, and so I think AdWords is going to be something that's just going to be a necessary evil if you want Google traffic.
Right. Yeah, and you make a great point here, Bradley, because we have talked about this time and time again in several occasions that every free traffic source at some point ends up becoming a paid traffic source. It happens to Google. It happened to Facebook. You used to post on a Facebook fan page that you will reach everyone, and now that's not even close. So every free quote-unquote traffic source ends up being a pay-to-play traffic source. So you need to have that in mind. That's for once. And the other side, the other hand is that Google Maps listing is not your business listing. It's Google Maps. It's Google's. So you need to be really certain about that. That if you have a big Facebook page, it's not yours. It's Facebook's. If you have a big Google Plus community, it's not yours. It's Google Plus. And you need to be really, really aware of that when you are trying to first explain it to a client, and second, developing any kind of asset online. The only things, in my opinion, that really belong to you are the relationship that you have with your customers and with your clients and with your leads, your email list and maybe your website, but that's pretty much it. In any other case, you're trying to reach out for traffic eyeballs, and you need to leverage other people's real estate to do that. So I think this is part of the rules of the game, and we need to evolve, as Bradley was saying. So I think that it does a lot of good to start with that mindset. Any kind of business, or grow your business, or even sit down to talk with a client, start with that mindset, because it will help you in the long run.
Yep. And that's that's part of the reason I'm developing the local Kingpin training now, that's going to be released in October, because of this reason. And I'm trying to streamline the ability to set up lead gen funnels for local businesses or for your own digital asset portfolio. It's, if you want to do lead gen business, but I'm trying to streamline it to where it's something that can be duplicated very, very quickly. And there's some benefits to AdWords, guys. I mean, literally, you could set up a landing page and turn traffic on in 48 hours. It's traffic within 48 hours. I mean, it's traffic on demand. And so there is definitely value in that, and so that's what the local Kingpin training is about. And then there will be some SEO training in there too, but it's going to be more about being able to set up funnels and turn traffic on very, very quickly. And so that because SEO continues to get more complicated, guys. There's no question. And it's not that I'm running scared. It's just that I want to be able to provide the same kind of consistent results to my clients and for my own lead gen business that I've been able to over the last 6 years. And it seems that without evolving and going into some paid traffic through Google, that my abilities are starting to decline. Not as an SEO, but as my abilities to generate leads, if that makes sense. And so that's just something that I've been forced to learn is AdWords, and now I see the value in it. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure why I hadn't seen I guess before I didn't need it, because SEO just worked so damn well for generating leads that I just never thought about AdWords. I was like, oh, that's stupid, I'm not paying for traffic. But now it's like we're being forced to pay for traffic. But there's, like I said, there's benefits to that. It's easily scalable. So Greg says, have you guys heard of texttools.net for semantic keyword analysis, and could you comment on it, please? They are having a summer special and a 14-day free trial. Well, I hadn't looked at it yet. I guess we can look at it very quick. Let's see. Text tools. I'd have to read through this a little bit. I don't know anything about it. This is the first I've heard about it. So I'd have to look into it a little bit more, and I'm certainly not going to do that on the call right now. But has anybody else here heard of this before?
No, not on my end.
Well, we can check it out and then comment back on the event page once we've looked at it, or comment on it next week. So, but thanks for pointing that out. It'll give us something to look at, Greg. So I don't have a comment for you right now. Ryan says, I'm finding lots of geo-relevant expired domains from old local businesses but have very little backlinks. How do you typically link out to local money sites from these, or do you just add a URL or brand link somewhere on the page, or do you add some content? Would it be better to save your exact match anchors for a domain that will provide more link juice? Thanks. That's a good question, Ryan. What I've been doing is it's not. I don't care about the number of backlinks when I'm scraping domains. I'm not really worried about that. What I look for is the trust flow numbers and the topical trust flow category. So I want to make sure that it's relevant. And then what I do is I look at the age of the inbound links going to that domain. So in other words, I'll go look at the archive.org, and the Wayback Machine, and I'll take a look and see if, for example, one of the domains that I want to purchase has had, let's say it's only got 2 referring domains, right? And one of the links is like from 2006, and then the other one's from like 2010. Chances are that link's never going to be removed. And so I don't really care about the quantity of links. I used to when I was buying expired domains, like the traditional PBN style, building PBNs, when you just go out and find expired domains based on purely metrics and you didn't care about topical relevancy or any of that stuff. It was more about the number of backlinks, the number of referring domains, because once you would rebuild the site or build a new site onto that domain, then webmasters over time would start removing the link to that site because it was no longer relevant to what it had been. You know, it was different, it was new content, and that kind of stuff. And so with traditional PBN domains, you would over time they would lose their backlinks. And so they, you know, they were kind of like a finite resource. They would only last so long. And that wasn't always the case, but that was more often than not the case. So, but with the domains that I'm buying now, I don't really care if it's like, I'll buy a domain that just has one inbound link. No kidding. If it's a powerful inbound link, and if it meets the, you know, if it's going to serve a purpose that then I'll go ahead and purchase it, even if it has just one inbound link. But again, I check to make sure that the age is there. If it was a one inbound link that was just placed last year, then I might not do it because there's a likelihood that that's going to be removed. But if it was a link placed in 2008 and it's been there for 8 years, chances are it's never going to be removed, and so that would still be valuable in my opinion. How do I link from those to my money site? Well, what I typically do is we'll rebuild the old site using the Wayback Rebuilder, the one inside of Blue Chip Backlinks. Those of you that aren't using Blue Chip Backlinks, Terry Kyle came out with just the Wayback Rebuilder as like kind of like a spin-off from Blue Chip Backlinks, and it's cheaper than Blue Chip Backlinks. I don't remember what it is. I think it's like $37 a month or something like that. But to be honest with you, you should go ahead and get Blue Chip Backlinks if that's the case. But what I'll typically do is just rebuild the site, and then I'll just put a link right on the home page of the site. Like all other links on the site will be no follow, and there will be one do follow link that I'll hack into the site, like on the front page of the site, because it's just an HTML page. So I go in and edit the HTML, update the index.html file, and it, save it to the server or to Amazon S3 or wherever I'm hosting it, and then that's it, and I leave it alone, because those are genuine, real sites, right? So I just usually put it in there. Sometimes they're footer links. I know you got to be a little bit more careful with doing footer links and that kind of stuff, but that's what I've been doing, and it works really well. It's different than like if you were spamming, using traditional style PBN with a bunch of blog posts on it, because those look like PBNs. You know what I mean? But when you're rebuilding old sites, they look like legitimate sites because they were legitimate sites. So I'll just put a link on the home page somewhere, and that's it. That's how I do it. But remember, if you're concerned about that, which you should be, you got to be careful. You can always link to a Tier 1 IFTTT property, preferably one that has a do follow link back to your money site. So you can link to that, or you can set up one expired domain that you've rebuilt, and then point all of your subsequent expired domains to that one, so that you're essentially creating like a buffer site, and you can do that as well. Okay. Do I have more content? No, I'm not building PBN style sites at all anymore. All I do now is rebuild old sites. That's it. And that way I don't have to come up with content. I don't have to theme the blogs. I don't have to nothing. I just unzip the file, upload it to the server, go in and edit my index.html file, add my link, and I'm done. Never have to touch it again. Would it be better to save your exact match anchors for a domain that will provide more link juice? Yeah, I mean, you can. What I do is I just typically will, if I'm going to build like 10 links back to my money site, then I'll use 10 different anchors, different types of anchor text, things like that, so that they're not all the same. But that's up to you. Again, what you could do is always use an exact match anchor from one rebuilt site that points to your money site, and then link to that rebuilt site with all the subsequent domains, and use different variations then. Does that make sense? So that you're only providing one exact match anchor back to your site, but then you're juicing that link with a bunch of other relevant links using LSI or co-occurring type keywords. Okay. Scott says, when setting up email accounts for small business folks, what is a recommended way? I find using cPanel on hosting is troublesome, and I'm thinking of using Gmail, but somehow make it look like it's sending from their domain name, which you can do with Gmail, Google Apps, right? Can't you do that with Gmail Apps or whatever it's called?
Yeah, I think.
I don't do it that way. I set it up on webmail, and then I set up an alias in Gmail.
Oh yeah, that's what I do as well for small businesses. Scott, if they work with Gmail, you can redirect the email account to your Gmail, and then set up an alias like a reply from, so that they are replying from the @theirdomain.com. That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I know in Google Apps you can do that somehow, because I've done it in the past, but I had to get some help because it was kind of geeky setting up a bunch of MX records and stuff in your DNS server for your domain and all that. But I know somehow through Google Apps you still use your domain, but everything runs through the Google servers instead. Because the way that I still do it now though is I run everything through webmail, but then I just create an alias and set up SMTP settings in Gmail, so that I can send and receive email from my Gmail account, but it's actually still going through my hosting account in my webmail server. But you can do it the other way around, where you can have all the emails go through the Google server, but you have to do that through Google Apps. And I'm not 100% sure how to set that up. I had to get help. It was like 3 years ago when I did it, and I had to get help with it. So. Let's see. I found tutorials from Google. However, it was not very specific on transferring all older emails over, so it's seamless to the client and hassle-free to me. Yeah, I don't know about transferring old emails. Every time I've ever done it, it's always just been from once you have done the setup from that point forward. There may be a way to import all the old emails. I don't know how to do that, though, unfortunately, Scott. I can't give you any guidance on that. So. Okay, John says, and we still got about 10 minutes. John says, trying to create a Google Plus page login so people can get into the page that way. In V2, both sections 3 video 11 and section 8 video 2 reference a create plus page login option, but it doesn't appear to be available now, and I'm not finding an update video on the subject. Did Google move or remove this? No, John, it's still available. I'm going to have to show my whole desktop here for me to be able to show you that, but it is absolutely still available. What you're probably doing is you've probably assigned yourself as a page manager, and you're trying to edit or create a page login through the manager account and not through the owner account, and you can't do that. You have to be logged in as the page owner, so the profile that actually owns it, you have to be logged in under that account in order to set up third-party access, which is a page login. Okay, so my guess is that you are set up as a manager. Let me Let me grab the whole screen here and so that everybody can see this, and I'll show you, because I just wanted to confirm that that wasn't the case, so I actually set it up myself earlier today just to confirm. So, all right, you guys should all be seeing my entire screen, and it probably got really messy just now. What I want to do is move this out of the way. I got too many damn windows going on here, guys. Forgive me. Move this to Chrome.
That is kind of psychedelic, yeah.
It's messy, isn't it?
It's window inception.
Yeah, it is. It's a window inside of a window. Okay, so on Facebook, you guys are seeing Chrome, and you guys aren't seeing Chrome. You have to see my whole window in order for this to work. So, all right. So from your Google My Business Page Manager, you're just going to select on the page. Make sure that you're logged in as the profile that owns the page. You can't do this as a page manager, okay? So I know you guys are hard to see it. Let me actually just expand this a little bit. Yeah, that's not going to work. That's all right. You guys can see what I'm talking about. So from here, just click on the settings. And again, you have to be the page. You have to be logged into the Google account as the page owner. And from settings, you just scroll down, and it's right here. Third-party tools, right there. That's how you set it up. This is the page username right here. You click Setup Password. You're going to have to enter in the profile account password in order. Once you click Setup Password, it's going to prompt you to enter in the profile password again. Then you click that. Once you click that, then it will ask you to set up a separate password as the page login, and this is the page login username / email right there. So you have, again, and if you do that, if you're logged in as a manager instead of the owner, it won't. This right here won't even show up, and that's probably the problem you're having, John. All right. All right. Let's go back to just Firefox because I know that was probably confusing. You guys seeing that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's why you need to get another monitor, Bradley.
Yeah, probably. But then, no, because then I would be like way confused. I'd have a bunch of windows and a bunch of monitors. That is inception there.
Turn this into the Matrix or something.
I'd have an ice cream headache by the end of the show. All right, did Google move? No. If not, is there a workaround trick? Nope. I just showed you how to fix it. You were probably logged in as a manager. Any suggestions on what we should? On on what we use to log into FeedBurner to create the plus page RSS feed URL. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Any suggestions on what we should use to log into FeedBurner to create the plus page RSS feed URL? Just log in through the profile that you're logged in with.
Right, because you can log in with the profile or with the page login.
Yeah,
I mean, you can do both. It depends. I mean, you could create Blogger, like regular Google accounts, like Blogger. I'm not sure about YouTube for sure, and FeedBurner from your page login. We usually do it from the profile login, but sometimes you can do it from the page login itself.
Yeah, so I mean, for FeedBurner, all I do is like usually I'll be logged in as the profile or as the page anyways that I'm working on, and because I do all kind of work in Firefox for the most part, and so you just go over to FeedBurner and then just create your feeds that way. Maybe I'm not understanding the question, John, because it seems to me like it's pretty self-explanatory. So if you can clarify that if you're here. Jacob is back. Hey, Jacob. Good to see you back, man. It's been a while. Zane's here. Cool. Let's see. We're almost out of time anyway, so this is probably good.
Yeah,
hey guys.
It looks like Zane answered Ganty's question there. So.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, you weren't there yet.
Chris says, hey guys, have any experience with local using city domain extensions? No, I haven't done that yet. I didn't even know those were available. I haven't tried that. It'd be worth giving it a shot. I've not had really that good a success with some of those fancy domain extensions. Like I just try to stick with .nets or .coms, .nets, .orgs for the most part. So, but that's kind of cool. It might be worth testing on a lead gen site. In fact, I might actually test that. I'm building out a whole bunch of lead gen sites right now for the local Kingpin training, so I might actually test that. Okay, cool. We're almost done. AdWords announced paid pins are coming late 2016, early 2017 on their live event last month. That was it, Jacob. That's where I had heard it was there. Yeah, it was the John Mueller or whatever, Mueller or whatever the hell his name is. That's exactly what I was talking about. Okay, so Ganty's question was answered? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, looks like we're done. Thanks, Zane, for contributing. Zane is a partner of ours in Mastery PR, and we got some really cool stuff coming up here, guys. I'm not going to spill the beans just yet, but it's really, really cool what we got coming up. We got another product next month coming out, and then the next one in October. So, all right, well, we are done. Thanks, everybody, for being here. We will be back next week. Those of you that are did we drop the OBS webinar?
We did, and I just put it on there again. I wanted to say, in case anybody's listening who wasn't on earlier, at 5 o'clock, Bradley's going to be showing you guys how to use OBS, Open Broadcast Software. So how to use that. It's what we're using now to stream. So pretty powerful software. There's no pitch with this. It's just showing you guys how we do what we do. So if you're interested in using live streaming, and you should be, if you're doing anything with video or you're interested in it, then click the link, go sign up. It's a free webinar, and it starts in 11 minutes.
Yep. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes then. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in a bit.
Thanks.
Bye everyone.